911, what's your emergency?
The following content is graphic, emotional, and includes dark humor that may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. These stories are based on real-life EMS, military, and healthcare experiences. Calls are real, providers are real, names and details have been changed to protect privacy. They may be disturbing to some and are definitely inappropriate for HR department. Any medical or mental health discussion is personal experience, not protocol. Use your damn brain. Follow your local guidelines, and when in doubt, call med control. If you're struggling, don't do it alone. Talk to someone, a coworker, a friend, a therapist, or hell, reach out to me. I'll answer. Need help right now? Text or call 988 or visit 988lifeline.org.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
actually
that
my next question for you is,
Yeah.
what did PTSD look like day to day to you? Not the textbook version, but at home, on shift, on the truck, or hell, even
Yeah.
at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're waking up like, crap, I remember that call. You know,
Yeah. Oh, man, everywhere, right? All of that. But at home, like I said, I was short of my kids, um, and, uh, with my wife, I was constantly tired, but I had to stay busy. And that's just right. I complain that I'm exhausted. I just want to sit. I don't want to, everything was too loud for me. I just noticed that all of a sudden, if I was in like crowds, I would just get anxious and need to leave. And I've never had that before. I used to be the guy in the crowd, and now I don't want anything to do with that. Um, so it showed up all of there. I had trouble sleeping. And honestly, I still have trouble sleeping. Um, you know, I'm always awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Still to this day, most nights. Um, but what I would find is I could always fall asleep, for the most part, but I was always awake 2 or 3 in the morning thinking about that call and never being able to go back to sleep. There was a point actually earlier on where I would have a drink before bed, and that lead to 2, and then 4, and there was a short period where I'd drink myself to sleep, for the most part, and that's it's humiliating to say, but it's the truth, and I didn't want my kids seeing that, my wife seeing that. Um, I started kinda hiding my drinking, "Oh, no one's home. What's a quick shot?" And and uh yeah, I would get home from one job that I had doing construction. I was building wood boats, which was honestly really cool. But I'd come home, take a
that
shower,
sounds
and
awesome.
it really was. It was a fun job. I did that for a while until they started doing layoffs. Um, like handmade wood boats. They were like incredible because I could zone out, and that was actually therapeutic in a way because you're doing a lot of sanding and like hand planing. Um, where I could zone out for a little while and focus on a craft, which actually did help. But I'd get off work, come home, take a shower, I'd grab a shower beer. And then I'd go have another one. And then I'd have one, before dinner and then with dinner. And I just noticed I was more distant with my family. Like even eating dinner with my kids and my wife, I was physically there, but I don't know what they were talking about. I was staring at a wall. And all of that was just drifting away. My wife kept asking me, "Why can't you be happy?" And it took me so long to figure out what those words meant. And I would get kind of angry, like, you just don't, I'd throw blame, like, you're the reason we moved here and I can't, be a fireman anymore. And we chose this. And she's absolutely right. I mean, she is my biggest supporter, to be quite honest. Uh, which, looking back was all those little things. I would hear, we had a neighbor across the street when I was actually still a firefighter. Uh, there was, she would call her kids in for dinner. And I remember running a horrific call with a child that had the same name as one of them. And that
Wow.
child died. And and it was probably the worst call I've ever been on. It was definitely top 3, if not the worst call I've ever been on. Um, And so, yeah, that child had died. A lot of unanswered questions. Um, and I would hear her go out and just call him in for dinner. But what I heard was not her voice just calling him for dinner. I heard the other mother screaming that voice,
Name.
you know. And we hear stories of, like, and I was one, if I saw a hurt or, a deceased child, I saw my daughter's face on that child. So I had, I don't know if you want to call it a hallucination. I just saw like all of these things to realize, like, I can't do this job anymore. And that's why I left. And that followed me, up until I started getting help. So
I
yeah,
think
my
that's
day today was just crazy at home.
If you think it's too heavy to say it anyway. It beats a eulogy. You don't have to apologize for surviving however you can. You're not the reason things are heavy. You're the reason they're still moving. Need support right now? Reach out to me. Reach out to somebody. Text or call 988 or visit 988lifeline.org. You're not alone. Not in this job. Not in this fight. Want to share your story or connect? Visit critical-run.com or message the Facebook page, Dispatched and Dysfunctional. We're building this for you, for them, for all of us.